Excuse me.
Good Thursday morning is the second episode of our fashion and fitness podcast. It's the 19th of April, halfway through spring. Welcome to another F-series of It's Just Another Ordinary Joe Show Thursday podcast. Looking forward to a bunch of exciting and stimulating conversation with you, our fellow Ordinary Joes and Ordinary Janes. Thursday, we talk about health, fitness, and what is this? Fashion? Fashion? Well, you know, I'm not so fashionable. What? Now let's take a step back and how did fashion get into the mix? I'm nowhere near any sense of fashion in me. Well, however, let us remind our viewers and our listeners and everybody in our community what is the core principle of the Ordinary Joe Show podcast. And that is we don't offer expert advice except for when we have a guest that come on who is an expert on a topic. But here in our community, we are fellow learners. We are fellow explorers. So we go together with our viewers and our listeners, and we go along on an adventure together to explore and learn more about the subject matter.
Now, if you feel good too, I want you to put your hands together and repeat after me. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3.
And true to our core principles here at the Ordinary Joe Show podcasting station, we are a local, serving local community podcast here in Toronto, Ontario. Although we acknowledge that we also have an international impact and we also serve our international audience. Primarily, we are going to talk about local events and activities, but we make sure that those things that we cover also are beneficial to our international audience. I'm your Ordinary Joe host, Primero Ordinario Joe Salvador, and we start this podcast in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to our community of brothers and sisters, Ordinary Janes and Ordinary Joes, coming together and sharing with each other here. And Thursdays, now, this is a little bit challenging for me because maybe some of you have seen me already on video and you can see that I'm not a big fashion buff. Not at all. I like to wear the same type of outfit over and over, something safe, something not non-daring, but you know, we are a local podcast here in Toronto, Ontario, and we are listener and viewer centric. So it's not about me. I am not an expert who tells you what to do, and we've seen that over and over again in many podcasts, many vlogs, many blogs, and many, you know, guru type shows out there who says, hey, I'm this expert and I have this much experience and look what I've done for myself, and here, listen, you do what I say. No, this is not the kind of podcast that we want to develop here on the Ordinary Joe Show, because we are all Ordinary Joes and Ordinary Janes who just want to not chug along, but who wants to thrive and to learn and to develop. But we are not there yet. Most of us listeners here, and including me, are not there yet. We are striving and we are working hard to get there, to learn more, to strive to be the best that we can be. So since it's Thursday, we are gonna kick it off again with a conversation on health talks, fitness talks, and it goes in tandem, health and fitness. then now you can think about fashion. A lot of people think of fashion first before their health and their fitness. But it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money to buy beautiful and expensive outfit. If you're not healthy, if you're not fit, just like me, I think I'm sexy except I have a big pot belly. Right? I'm trying to imitate my little daughter's voice last night. She was playing with this voice in one of the characters of Boss Baby. And she was saying, Boss Baby, CEO, Fat Baby. So it was funny. But anyways, yeah, if you have a pot belly just like I have, then doesn't matter if you have really nice suits. I got like, about 10 to 15 sets of really nice boss suits. They're hand-me-down suits, but they're really nice. It really looks nice on me. Except you just don't be looking on the midsection and everything falls apart from that point. But cheer up, don't you be crying now. We are going to try and put the everything in the right order. First things first, don't put the horse before the cart. Oh, sorry, put the cart before the horse, because that's the right way actually. Horse before the cart. If you put the cart before the horse, and you can't expect the horse to push the cart, so we'll put everything in the right order. First is health, then fitness, then fashion. Because as you know, okay, let's just take a step back again. Last episode, I think I talked about the golden ratio. Do you remember the golden ratio? In math and in science, the golden ratio actually involves the pi, 3.14 something. Anyways, the pi, the ratio is the formula for beauty according to science and according to math. And the golden ratio is actually in some fashion competition, they use the golden ratio to measure proportion, facial proportion, physical, I think it's called vital statistics, is what the proportion of the body, especially for women, the bottle shape body that a lot of people are attracted to. They actually use a formula called the golden ratio to measure against a standard of beauty. But that's subjective, in my opinion. So for all of you fashion aficionados out there, I'd like you to take a little pause and think about this for a moment. So there's two vital statistics in two different disciplines. So in the fashion industry, there's what they call the hourglass ratio, or the waist to hip ratio, WHR. Do you know that exactly in the health industry, there's also a WHR, which is the health proportion of the waist hip ratio, which is somewhat not totally, but somewhat different with the fashion industry's WHR, or the waist hip ratio, or the hourglass ratio as they call it in the fashion industry. However, there's something very common in these two ratios, and that is the Fibonacci sequence, or the Fibonacci ratio, or also what we call the golden ratio, which is the mathematical computation for beauty. Don't go away. We are going to take a 60-second break. When we come back, we will discuss how to prioritize your health, or can we do it both ways? Be healthy at the same time, be fashionable? Don't go away. We'll be right back in 60 seconds.
I want you to put your hands together and repeat after me. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got a good feeling. Oh, I got a good feeling. Oh, I got a good feeling.
Hello friends, thank you for tuning into our Thursdays podcast about fitness, health, and fashion. Thursdays. We are very pleased to tell you that we are going to start movie reviews on our Friday podcast, which is our F6 in the series: films, books, music, and art. Starting tomorrow, we got a few films in the lineup. Please don't miss it. 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, and 9 a.m. Pacific. See you tomorrow at our film podcast. Take care. Now back to our regular programming. Welcome back to the Ordinary Joe Show Thursday podcast. Fitness, health, and fashion. According to an old and wise philosopher, our bodies are our gardens and our wills are our gardeners. That's by William Shakespeare. So let's get back to our conversation about the balance between the body, the health, and then fashion. But let's put it all back and unpack it again. Let's put it back in the box and then unpack it very, very carefully. We are made of spirit, souls, and body. So what's the most important? I think when we unpack this, we need to start from the very core, which is our spirits, then our souls, and then our bodies will be healthy, and then the physical appearance and the fashionable attractiveness of a person can then be manifested. But it all starts from within. I think it all starts from within. So the inside needs to be beautiful, and then the outside will therefore be beautiful. I just coined a new term today. So next time I will welcome you like this. Welcome back, fashionistas and fitnessistas. It's a new term that I'm coining. Fitnessistas. So those fashionistas that put fitness as their priority before fashion, I will call them the fitnessistas. But I think it just serves us all better if we have both, right? There's nothing wrong with fashion and there's nothing wrong with looking good. I think the best looking people are the healthiest people that walks around, and being healthy is... Now, like I said, I'm not preaching like as if I got there. I already arrived in my fitness goals. I'm way behind. To be very honest, I'm way behind and I need to catch up. But I can feel, and I think there's a lot of you listeners to my show right now, to my listeners to my voice right now, that you are in the same place as I am. You want to be fit, you have a fitness goal, or maybe you don't have a fitness goal yet, and you need to start creating that fitness goal today and work on it little by little. I have a fitness goal, and my fitness goal has been there for like more than 10 years. I get there and then I step back. I get there and then I step back. Or, I fall back. But we have to be diligent and work on our fitness goal every single day and try to achieve it again. Before we continue and before I forget, I wouldn't like to skip on giving credit and gratitude to the provider of our background soundtrack, Bella Morena by Colectivo. It's a copyright-free and royalty-free soundtrack that you can download from either Facebook or YouTube. Colectivo, thank you very much for such a beautiful Latin background music. And the title of the music is Bella Morena. And I just look it up on Google Translate. Bella means beautiful, Morena means brunette. So beautiful brunette. That's the theme song on our fashionista, fitnessista podcast today. Beautiful brunette. I find that all kinds of hair color, blonde, black, brunette, doesn't matter even if it's green. It's just that green is not natural hair color of anybody, I think. Oh, I might be mistaken. All kinds of color, all kinds of shades, all kinds of eye colors. Just everything that's out there that's natural is beautiful because you are created in the image and the likeness of the Creator. So you are beautiful. Just keep that in mind. And, all these aesthetics, all this expensive, fashionable clothes, makeup, surgery, all these are really not necessary because you've already been created beautiful, right? But now, the mathematician, they want us to conform to what they call the Fibonacci or golden ratio. And a lot of women force their appearance into that mold, into that cookie cutter. And there's so many who already suffered with surgeries that gone wrong, fitness regimen that got wrong, and after spending so much money, they get worse than they were originally created. And that's unfortunate. I pray and I hope that none of our listeners will ever experience. There was an old saying that goes, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. So that wants to imply that beauty is subjective. Whatever is attractive to me might not be the same appearance that will be considered attractive for you, because we all have different tastes. And there's an old terminology among young and single men and women when they're going out on dates. They call this terminology called type, my type, because people seem to know the type that they're looking for. And so if a person is not your type, doesn't matter if it's totally 100% attractive to another person. If that is not your type, it might not appeal as attractive to you. So the old saying, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, is pretty, let's say, truthful. That's a truthful statement, wouldn't you agree? However, there is science and math, and they say the Fibonacci ratio and the golden ratio is the measuring stick to validate if a person is beautiful or not. Why do we need to validate? So all these beauty contests, they validate who's the prettier than the other, and there's a lot of strife that comes out from that. But if I, as an ordinary Joe, just use my eyes and not use any of this, don't look at the women through the lenses of the fashion industry, the big corporate producer of garments, the big corporate producers of aesthetics, makeup, lipsticks. It's big business, $1 billion worth of business that goes into these products. And it's all just a farce. But that's only my opinion. I don't mean to discount every single person who are involved in the beauty industry. But just please acknowledge that you are already beautiful even before the makeup. Just imagine how much money will you be saving if you save it from purchasing all those makeup, those high heels, those lipstick, and they're not cheap, they're very expensive. And put the same money into a fitness program, let's say. Now, I'm not totally saying everything about that is wrong, but just put a little priority in your fitness. Now I can see that our second break is just looming around, and I don't have a choice. I gotta stick to this format now. So don't go away. In about 60 seconds, we'll be back and we'll talk more about this issue.
You feel good too. I want you to put your hands together.
Hello friends, thank you for tuning into our Thursdays podcast about fitness, health, and fashion. Thursdays. We are very pleased to tell you that we are going to start movie reviews on our Friday podcast, which is our F6 in the series, films, books, music, and art. Starting tomorrow, we got a few films in the lineup. Please don't miss it. 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, and 9 a.m. Pacific. See you tomorrow at our film podcast. Take care. Now back to our regular programming. Welcome back to the Ordinary Joe Show Fitness and Fashion Podcast Thursdays. Physical fitness is not the only one of the most important keys to a healthy body. It is the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity, and that's according to John F. Kennedy. And most of you are liberals who's listening to me, and I'm pretty liberal too. Not in the political sense, but liberal in terms of like, give me freedom or give me death. Okay, let's be serious a little bit. So, I'd like to point out that John F. Kennedy is honing into a very deep truth in this particular saying, because I totally believe if your body is healthy and then your mind can think properly, I'm pretty sure that if you have a sound mind, you'll be able to think about how to make yourself even prettier in a clearer and more strategic way. So physical health brings mental health, emotional health, and we are going to talk about mental health a lot in this Thursday's podcast, because mental health is very real. It's a very real problem nowadays. Anxiety, depression, and all that. I'll be honest and full disclosure, I do from time to time feel like there's anxiety issues that I have to deal with myself. So that's why I want to talk about health, fitness, and fashion, you know. It's like a self-help medicine. When I talk to you, when we have a conversation, when we have a talk, we can exchange information with each other. Well, according to Wikipedia, physical attractiveness is the degree to which a person's physical features are considered aesthetically pleasing or beautiful. The term often implies sexual attractiveness or desirability, but can also be distinct from either. There are many factors which influence one person's attraction to another, with physical aspects being one of them. Physical attraction itself includes universal perception, common to all human cultures, as well as aspects that are culturally and socially dependent, along with individual subjective preferences. So now let's take that with a grain of salt. Not just because it's from Wikipedia, we hold it as the absolute truth, or like a biblical level of integrity. Because although Wikipedia is an open source where people can modify and edit, it's whoever is most active in editing it will be on top of the game. Wikipedia also described what facial symmetry is. So now we are talking about the science and the math now on physical attraction. The Fibonacci ratio, the golden ratio. Facial symmetry is one of the specific measure of bodily asymmetry, along with traits such as averageness and youthfulness. It influences judgments of aesthetics, traits of physical attractiveness, and beauty. For instance, in mate selection, people who have been shown to have a preference of symmetry. This is because it is seen as an indicator of health and genetic fitness, but also as holding adaptation qualities, reflecting the ability to withstand the changes in their environments. So now we go back to how we opened this episode. The order of things: health, and that's physical health, but if we step back a little bit, we need to have the spiritual health, then the mental and emotional health, which and that's my theory. This is my thesis that I'm offering to you. We start with the spiritual health, the mental and the emotional health. It delivers the physical health. And when you're healthy, according to Wikipedia itself, right? And I'm not always in agreement with Wikipedia. Wikipedia is saying that in the history of fashion, health and genetic fitness is actually a big factor in human attraction, in the science and the math that they use behind beauty contests, because it's been statistically proven that most people prefer and attracted to individuals that shows a lot of symmetry, facial symmetry and body symmetry, like what I was talking about earlier on the vital statistics or the hip weight ratio according to the fashion world and also the health world, that those things indicates symmetry is an indicator of health and genetic fitness. And when there's health and genetic fitness that is being exhibited by a person, statistically they get more eyes, they get more glances from other people. They are the one that we perceive to be attractive individuals. But all of these are, well, technically very subconscious, right? So human attraction, being an attractive person, and I have my Facebook, my social media analytics shows that 99% of my listeners are women. So I have to get in touch with my female side every time I'm recording my podcast for you guys, because 99% of you are women who come and listen to my podcast and come in and follow my social media feeds. And just to get back to my point, that's human attraction and the people that we perceive as beautiful, as attractive, it's all happening in the subconscious, really. So very little to do with our conscious mind, because scientifically we get attracted to people that are displaying and exhibiting and manifesting underlying traits. So for example, just to kind of break it down and understand this concept. For example, if we go back to the facial symmetry, we are not attracted because there's a lot of balance on a person's face and eyes, and the nose being very centered, and the both sides of the lips being symmetrical to each other. It's not it's not the physical appearance that we are attracted to. It's the underlying indicator, which is in science, these things, physical symmetry, is an indicator that a person holds adaptation qualities. That the person who has a symmetrical face, subconsciously we perceive them as people that holds adaptation qualities, reflecting the ability to withstand the changes in their environment. So it's actually the ability behind. So, women look at muscles of hunky men, but it's not the muscles that they're attracted to. It's the strength and the stability, the underlying asset. So in short, I think we need to understand that physical attraction, human attraction, when humans are attracted to other humans, the initial attraction, what they call love at first sight, there's no such thing, right? Because when we see the physical appearance, it's actually what the message of that physical attribute is saying to your subconscious that people are attracted to. So growing up, I saw a lot of beautiful women, even in the Philippines when I was in high school. Beautiful, stunning looking women going out with criminal looking thugs. And I don't see those men what I would think to be an attractive looking man. But it was the power and the strength and the energy that those men is oozing out from their spirit because of the power that they hold. For example, drug dealers have a lot of beautiful women around them because the women are attracted to their power, their influence, their money, and that so women are attracted to what is underlying. What is so why do women like bad boy images? Bad boy image seems to portray that a confidence, right? A bad boy image conveys, hey, I don't care about the world, I am my own man, and I don't pay respect to nobody. And women are attracted to that stability, to that confidence. So the underlying asset behind the physical appearance, that's what humans are attracted to. So the same concept applies to men. Men are probably more visual. In the old classic book, Women Are From Venus and Men Are From Mars, it describes how men are more of the visual learner and women are auditory learners. That's why women get attracted to soft talk, right? Confident, bragging, kind of. That's what the reason in the dating game men needs to know a proper pickup line, because women picks up auditorily on cues while men are visual. We pick up on visual cues. So for the superficial, men are attracted to women, especially the shape of the body. Is it because we have a visual analysis of shapes and dimensions and proportions and ratios? No. I think it's the sexual underlying content. I gotta be careful. I want kids to listen to my podcast. But it's the sexual content. Yeah, at this point, just cover the ears of your kids if you're listening to this with your kids around. I want this to be as family-friendly podcast as possible. I used to trade the stock market every day, and when we deal with derivatives, we are trading stocks. We are trading derivatives because of the underlying asset. What is the potential that's underlying that particular instrument that we're trading? So, friends, why do we make it so hard for ourselves? Why don't we just cut to the chase and look for the asset instead of the representation that represents the underlying asset? Let's cut to the chase and just cut right to it. But we all know there's more to it than what meets the eye. Friends, there's so much more to talk about in this topic, but looks like half an hour is not enough time for us to really dissect everything. And it seems to me that we are coming to a close again on this Thursday podcast. I promise you, next week we are going to pick up where we left off, and please invite your friends, please invite your women friends to come and listen, because we might be digging up some ancient secrets, how to be that attractive person that you want to be, and also for your own mental evaluation, why you attracted to certain individuals. Because we talk about these things here on Thursday's podcast, because Thursday's podcast is all about fitness, health, and fashion. And we'll do this again next week. So we'll see you again next week on Thursday for another episode of Health, Fitness, and Fashion Podcast. It's just another ordinary Joe show. We'll see you again next week. God bless you all.